Hello, and tonight I've decided to make a video of 13 or 14 of my favourite albums or so. No specific order, I'm just going to talk about them and tell you why I like them, basically. So yeah, I've been covered in dust thanks to the vault that's right by my room. Well, the bookshelf basically. But anyway, so I'm just going to dive in and here's number one, Deftones, Around the Fur. Now, when I was about 16, I got the self-titled album with Minerva, I think, for my birthday, and that got me to check out all the other Deftones albums, but the one that stuck out for me was this one. It's like my standout tracks will have to be Be Quiet and Drive Far Away and Head Up. Now I remember when I got to see him live, I think it was the time where I split up with my ex, and I had 2 tickets, so I thought, fuck this, I'm going on my own, and I fucking enjoyed it. And then when I went to the toilet, Head Up was about to start, and I was just like rushing from the toilet, I had a piss and just ran straight to the pit. Oh, fucking good times. So yeah, that was an awesome album, and I love listening to it from start to finish. Anyway, my second album is In the Absence of Truth, which is ISIS. Now, my friend of mine called Phil sent me a song by them. I think it was when Tool hadn't brought anything out, and I think this was like, he said, oh, listen to this, you might like them, they sound a bit like Tool. And I wasn't completely sold on them. It was he when I told him that, he said, oh, 7 minutes, is that too long of a song for you? But yeah, I remember going to HMV and buying it. I realised that it was actually really good. It was got me out of a kick where I was listening to shit like Atreyu and really crappy bands. But for this thing though, it doesn't really have a standout track. I love all of the album, but I like the song number 8, which is Ferda Si Barin, which is an instrumental track, and it sort of inspired me to do an art project when I was at college, where there's like a whole story about him. But yeah, that got me to check out other albums by ISIS, and shame I missed them, now this fucking split up. Well, anyway, let me get the other one. Now, Beck, Odelay, I've got to stop doing that. Now, this album has grown with me for a long, long time, and yes, it is a copy. Boo-hoo. And, I used to spend like Friday nights when I was like too young to be a miscreant and too old to be a kid, so I was just in that awkward age really. And I had a disc player and for Christmas, and this is what I usually played on it. Like I loved songs like Novocaine, Where's It At, and High Five. Some of my favourite songs ever. I just love Beck. I've not really checked out any of his other albums, to be honest. Like I've got, I think, a few other songs like but this album, I love it. And I love Ramshackle as well. Amazing album. Now, my next album, System of a Down. Now, a lot of people may think, oh, I've heard Chop Suey on repeat on Kerrang TV for years, and in a way it's made me hate them a little bit, but thing is though, when I was about 16, 15 and I started to be a mosher, this was like this album reminds me of a time when I was carefree, and a time where I just sat on my PS2 on my ass all day playing Silent Hill 2, which I was doing like a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I love it though, and it reminds me of going to Affleck's Palace and stuff the first time I went there, where it's like amazing, like like one of my standout songs would have to be Jet Pilot, and there's also Shimmy as well. It's an amazing album. Oh, brings back memories. Now, my next album, say I've forgotten counting, so you may have to count them yourself, so I'm sure mathematics isn't, yeah, I'll stop talking. Anyway, this is Slint, Spiderland. Now, a lot of people are going to think, Pitchfork Media Freak. Yeah, that was a pretentious site which reviews albums, but this was like, I was urged to check this out when on Amazon, where it's like started to get into post-rock and stuff like that. And I remember finding this album, I think it was like 15 quid, but it was so worth it. It is a depressing album, like especially with Dana Man, which is just like story about this guy. He just, I can't remember the lyrics, so it was just like, he went to a party and then he sort of like mentioned that he left and he just laughed, and it was kind of reminds me of me when I was a bit of like a loner and stuff. Well, I still am, but yeah, it's an amazing album. Just kind of reminded me of a dark time in my life, but Weezer. Now this is my next one, the Blue Album. Now I used to really hate these. I used to hate Weezer. I used to hate when Buddy Holly came on Kerrang. I couldn't change it fast enough. But I don't know. I think when I used to have this friend, he used to say like, he used to like Weezer, and he said, and he urged me to check them out, and he said, right, how come you've not got the Blue Album yet? So, and he just went, get it. And I think I remember buying it at the same time as one of Sin City books. Completely irrelevant, I guess, but it was just, I used to listen to it while reading it, and I just, obviously, and then I started to like Buddy Holly again, and he used to sing, what's with these homies, dissing my girl. Oh, that song, obnoxiously when drunk. Oh, good times. There's also Surfwax America, that's a fucking awesome song. Now, my next album, 36 Crazy Fists. Snowcaps Romance. Now, I used to listen to this non-stop. I even copied it first and downloaded it. I know, shock horror. But I remember like hearing them, and it was just like they did Slit Wrist Fairy. Like the songs on that, I can't remember what the album was called. The first album they did, well, the first album that I heard of, and it was like that had Slit Wrist Fairy, and that was like quite new metal-y in a way. And then when I heard this, I thought it was two different bands. Like when at the end of August came out on the music channel, and I thought, whoa, these are fucking awesome. I remember me and my mate going to see him, and I lied to my mum saying that I was going out in Bolton, and I lied to him, but I was going really to Manchester to see these and go out afterwards. Got grounded afterwards, but it was fucking worth it. Favourite song on that is Keen Eye, and I'm trying to think, Waterhall as well. That's amazing. Now, my next album is Explosions in the Sky. I'm trying to think what this one. Oh, all of a sudden I miss everyone. See, I'm a bit patchy on this because this is a bit spontaneous. I remember buying Those Who Shall Tell the Truth Shall Die, and those, I think that's what it's called, something Live Forever. But yeah, what I love about this album is that it was a time when I was fascinated with post-rock. Well, I know that's not a term that people use, but it's like instrumental basically. And I used to be obsessed with that kind of stuff. Like, I was fascinated by it. And this was one of the albums I was waiting for a long time, and I remember buying it in the shop and falling in love with them, just wanting to go see them live. And and eventually I've seen him live. Eventually did see him live. Sorry about that. And he was fantastic. One of my favourite songs has to be It's Natural to Be Afraid. Just amazing. Anyway, my next album is Godspeed You Black Emperor. Lift your skinny fists like antennas to heaven. Now this band is basically my favourite band of all time. And Thrice as well takes that mantle as well. It's a joint mantle. It's always fighting for supremacy. But yeah, what I liked about it was this was actually a tough toss up between Infinity as well, which is amazing. I think a friend